Welcome to Six in the Six, the inaugural episode featuring none other than Roberts Wesleyan, Natalie Arieno. Hello, Natalie.
Hey, hey.
So I figure since this is the first, and maybe it shall be the theme music for the entire thing, here we go. I figured that was
Everybody!
very appropriate for a goalie episode. And before we get any further, let me do one more thing. There we
Oh, good God. Ah! Put your head over my freshman year picture and stop covering my junior. Yep, there you go. See, those three are pretty. The first one, we didn't know what was going on.
All right, we have the pictorial Roberts Wesleyan history of Natalie, of Nat. So Nat, how you doing?
I'm dandy. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to kick off this new adventure here. So
yeah.
The Six in the Six is basically the different goalies I coach. They work in the 6-yard box. They work in the 6x6 lacrosse net. And sometimes they work in the 6 inches between the ears. So that's kind of the purpose. And you were a natural selection pick to come on for my first one, of course, because I kind of know you. So the 6 main questions, I'm going to try to get into that head of yours and find out some new stuff.
Are you sure you want to get in between my ears?
I'm not sure about it. It's always full of surprises. So let's do this. All right.
Yeah.
So before we get started, and for all of our 2 watchers initially, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your lacrosse self? Like, how did you get started? What was your path up to where you're at?
So I started playing lacrosse when I was in 4th grade. It was something new, and I grew up in Greece, New York, so it was something new that was the town was starting, and my mom was like, "Hey, try it," and I was like, "Okay." And my mom will fight me to this day on how I became a goalie. The coach, I don't even remember who it was at this point, but the coach was like, "Hey, we need a goalie. Does anybody want to try it?" And I was like, "No, I want to score goals." And my mom was like, "Yeah, go ahead, try it. I don't care. Like, do it anyways. I don't." She was like, "Just do it." So I was like, "Okay, whatever, why not?" So when I first started, I was like, "Oh, sick. I can just stand here. I don't have to run around. Like, I can just, take up this space and watch everybody else run around."
So hold on a second. So back to mom, Deb. You made it sound like she was skeptical that you'd be able to score goals, or did she just really, was it that, or she couldn't believe you'd actually stand in front of things?
I don't even know. I think she just wanted me to try it. Like, it was kind of like a, "Hey, try it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it." I don't think there was any like, "Oh, I don't think you can score goals. I don't think you can not save goals." I think she was just wanting me to try something new and push myself. So she was like, "Give it a go. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it." And then I tried it. I liked it, kept with it. And here we are today.
So what was between that youth level? There was obviously some school ball in there, some club ball. What was your path there? When did you know you might want to pursue this in college, and maybe be a little more serious about it?
So I went to Greece, Athena, and the cross program there was never amazing. But when I was playing travel lacrosse, I played for a common goal, and I just fell in love with the sport. I liked the challenge of it. I liked the team atmosphere, and I loved the coaches. And that was one of the main reasons why I chose Roberts. Is like, my travel coach was Pete Bell. He was the assistant at Roberts. Kristen Palini, then Kristen Concordia. She coached some of the teams, and it just felt like family to me. So at first I was like, "Oh, I don't want to go to Roberts. Like, it's too close to home. I know too many people. Like, I want to venture out." And then I did an overnight and I actually really loved it. No matter, it was snowing, it was raining, it was probably the worst possible weather conditions possible, but I still really enjoyed it. And I loved the speed and I loved like the next level. And so like after my overnight, I think that was when I set my sights on like, yeah, I'm going to play in college. There was never a point where I was like, I'm not going to play in college. It just kind of felt natural. Like I was like, oh, like I'm just going to go, like, who cares? Like, I'm not going to stop myself from continuing. I want to see how far I can go.
So the weather, it's, some people watching may not realize that Greece, New York is about 10 minutes away from campus. So it's not like
20 minutes.
20
it is
minutes.
a 20 minutes.
It's not like the weather was a surprise for one. So you shouldn't have been surprised about it. But what do you like our crazy weather here? I mean, why didn't you choose to go to Southern Cal or Florida or somewhere where snow wasn't a factor?
I have a love-hate relationship with the weather. It's just kind of, I've been around it my whole life, so it wasn't a shock, but waking up at 5 a.m. to get to practice and it's snowing, you're like, oh, okay, like I chose this, but it's some of the little things you deal with because, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. And even though you're freezing, you're playing the sport you love around the people that you love. So it was, you just kind of ignore it and hope it goes away soon.
Soon sometimes is mid-May, but all right.
Yeah.
All right. So first question of these 6, let's see here. So what kept you motivated and focused through your Greece Athena years and your Common Goal years to eventually come to Roberts? What kept you, your drive, your inner fire going to keep pushing your bar up?
I think it was just the fact that like since Greece wasn't that great of a program, it's like I never had that like family aspect of the team. So it's like being able to look forward to like that family culture through college was kind of what drove me, and just pushing myself to see how far I could go was kind of like my mental state, where I was like, I was never ready to like say goodbye to lacrosse. It kind of became my outlet for everything. And I could just let myself I could allow myself to lose myself in a way where I was just like fully engrossed in the game, that I just wanted to see how far I could personally push myself and then see how much I could push my teammates.
Yeah, it sounds, I know you're really good now at kind of separating the different pieces of what's going on with yourself and focus in on each one of them. Do you feel like you really developed that during those years, or have you kind of always had that ability?
Oh gosh, no, I definitely developed it at college. There was my freshman and sophomore year, I basically put like mental blocks in front of myself where I was like, oh my God, this is a new team. This is a new speed. Like I built up so many building blocks that I had to eventually break down and get through, that it's like my mistakes are broadcasted for everybody to see, like, oh, like those many goals went in on me. But it took me a really long time to be like, because I always strive for perfection in everything I do. So like being out on the field, it's like, oh, I want to be perfect. I want to make every save. I wanted to get all the interceptions. I want to do all this, all that. And just understanding how realistic of an expectation that was for myself, honestly helped change my mental state a lot. And so being able to change that, I want to be perfect, to I just want to play my best game possible, honestly changed my mind like a 360, 180. I don't know how you want to say it, but it completely did like a 180 on my mindset to don't strive for perfection, just strive to be the best you can be and push yourself beyond those limits to see what you can do. And if you try something new and it goes completely wrong, okay, you learned from it. Like your coaches are never really going to be mad at you for trying something new within your limits or like within reason. But it took me a long time. And I think I've definitely, especially like over my junior and senior year in college, it's completely changed my whole mental state.
I think I've noticed that. And I've noticed kind of your understanding of, even though you're constantly striving to be the best you can be, that falling short at being really, really good or excellent is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, even though we want a little more. So I think that's
Yeah.
always something cool.
And I think it's also the fact that it's like, it's not just me out there on the field. Like I have my teammates on the field, that it's like the ball has to go through every one of us. And if we're playing as a unit, as a team, yeah, every game's going to have its ups and downs, and you just got to roll with the punches and just figure it out on the fly. And I think that's what helped me grow a lot too, because I was like, oh my God, that goal just went in on me. Like I didn't step, I didn't drive my hands, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And it's my teammates would be like, no, like I let that girl by, like that's on me. And like it kind of forced me to step out of like going down the rabbit hole of like, oh my God, I didn't do this, this, and this. And my teammates will be like, no, like that's on me. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, I understand. Like, yeah, I see how that girl was like right on top of me. Like she was able to fake a few times. So it allowed me to like stop dwelling so much on what I didn't do and just be like, yes, they honestly didn't do their part. So it made my part harder, but we talk about it. We come to a common understanding, and we focus on how to prevent it from happening again.
Nice. So second question. So you get to Roberts freshman year, a lot of big changes happen your freshman year. Kristen's dad, your goalie coach growing up, unfortunately passed away. He was a great role model, coach, kind of mentor to you. You get into the spring season, and well, besides me, who we had an interesting start. But how about in terms of, your expectations of how much you were going to see the field, and how tough was it to go from kind of the top of your game at one level, kind of coming into the bottom at the next level?
It was definitely different, but I knew that there was an adjustment period that I was going to have to go through, whether I wanted to acknowledge it or not to myself. I think going in, I was like, oh, I'm going to start again. Like I was like, no biggie. But then as I got to practices, I was like, whoa, this is different. This is way faster. Like I got to adjust. I think that was the biggest thing, just like getting used to the new pace and like finding my voice through the team, because it's like, you're a freshman. You don't want to like be aggressive. You don't want to seem like you're trying to like act like you know everything. But it like, once I was able to find my voice and like my leadership style on the team, whether it was on the field or off the field, it made it a lot easier to adjust to everything on the field.
Kind of going back to referenced it a little earlier, how important did you find it to start developing that kind of separating scholastic athletics and kind of overall life to kind of be successful and maintain a good balance as a student athlete?
Definitely freshman. I think being in high school and just anticipating college, it was finding that balance was my biggest concern, in all honesty, because I originally was an exercise science major, and that's a lot of science that I quickly dropped and picked up Homeland Security, because I just was not interested in the science. I think that was what made my first semester, my freshman year, so hard, is because I wasn't doing something that I loved outside of lacrosse. And then finding Homeland, it drew me in. I was engaged in the class. I was enjoying my classes. So it made translating from the field to like the classroom, it just made it a little bit more smooth. And it just like going from classes, I'm not sitting there like dreading like, oh my God, I have an exam. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but going out to the field being like, I know what I'm doing. But it was like, there was this gray area in my life where I was just like, I have no idea what I'm doing in anything. And so you kind of have to break it back down to like the simplest things. It's like, what do I like outside of lacrosse? What do I like outside of school? Like you kind of have to figure out what interests you and then go from there. And that definitely took me a really long time. And now that I'm moving on ish, kind of looking towards the future eventually, I'm back in that like, oh my God, I don't know what I want to do with my life. So it's figuring out my place and where I'm meant to be is my biggest challenge right now.
And we all want to rush to adulting until we get there. And we're like, why? More than I bargained for. So third question here. If you hadn't picked up that lacrosse stick, if you hadn't jumped in the 6x6, what do you think you may have been doing at this point?
Oh gosh. So when I was in elementary school, I was a gymnast and a cheerleader, and I think I would be doing that. So um I don't know. I picked up volleyball my senior year of high school and I really enjoyed that. So I would like to think that that's what I would have done, but in all honesty, I probably would have been a gymnast or a cheerleader. And looking back now, I'm happy with when my dad goes, "Hey, I think you're gonna have to pick one," and I was like, "Oh, definitely lacrosse," and he goes, "Whew, thank God."
Good guy. I'd like to see some pictures someday of those early net years.
Hey, my fun fact is I can still do a full split. So everybody always gets like really like freaked out by that. And like I'm awkwardly flexible, which I think helps on the field. And if I do like a split to make a save, which happened a couple of times, people are like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?"
Well, I've noticed some of that flexibility and just the real high level of athleticism as well. So I'm not surprised it would have been another sport.
Yeah.
So fourth question, back to our 2021 run to the Final Four. How much pressure did you feel being the only goalie on the roster and, ultimately seeing over 900 minutes, 964 to be precise? How much pressure did you feel being the only goalie? And how did you deal with, we couldn't pull you out. You had to find it within yourself to get back to your norm.
Definitely at the beginning, because that was my junior year. So definitely at the beginning, coming off from COVID, my mental state was like, "Oh my God, I can't get hurt. I can't do this. I can't do that." It was full of like, I can't. And I honestly like, I don't want to say like I secluded myself because I still hung out with my friends. I still hung out with my teammates, but there were so many things that I had to say no to doing because I was like out of respect for my teammates and my coaches and myself. Like I can't put myself in harm's way. So I definitely put like a mental bubble wrap around myself where it's like, "Oh, I want to go get coffee, but like I'm going to wear my mask, just God forbid." So it was like at the beginning of the season, I was again putting so many mental blocks in front of myself because I was like, "I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do the third." Like I put so many can'ts in front of myself. Whereas like when Kristen one day, she was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, I can see you're so inside your head. Like, just go play, like, stop thinking. And so it kind of became our thing where it was like, when you think, you stink. So I think that's what the biggest difference for me is like from my freshman year to my senior year, end of junior, senior year, I would just go out and play. And you can't think about, "Oh my God, if I get hurt," you're going to get hurt if you think that. So it's like, I'm just going to go and play. And I think that's what ultimately helped me succeed as much as I possibly could have, because once I got out of the mental state where it's like, "Oh my God, if I get hurt," to I'm just going to go play and I'm just going to go do what I can. It takes such a weight off your shoulders where it's like, yeah, if I get sick, I'm going to let my teammates down, but I'm taking so many precautions to prevent myself from getting sick that it kind of just faded away into like, I don't want to say it faded away to nothing, because there was always still that like my mom, like in the back of my head where it's like, "You can't get hurt, you can't get sick, blah, blah, blah." But it also led me to do so many things or like find new things within myself to like find joy out of. Like when I was younger, I was really artistic. So I got to tap back into those art skills. So it allowed me to like find the things I once enjoyed that I may have put on the back burner for a while. And it just made me appreciate so much more of like my teammates, because they did understand that, yeah, I was the only goalie, but they knew that I was going to do anything possible to have their backs because I knew they had mine. So I had to have theirs, hands down.
I think you mentioned a great mindset hack too in there, that, tell yourself or think what you can or should be doing as opposed to what you can't or shouldn't be doing. I don't think our brain hears whatever it is, right? Don't get hurt. And it's just going hurt, and you do whatever. Next thing you know. So love that. Fifth question.
Ooh.
as you approach the end of your collegiate career, what legacy would you like to leave on the Roberts Wesleyan women's lacrosse program?
Oh, I have no idea. Like there was this write-up about me saying how I'm leaving a legacy, and I've never thought about it like that. It's just the sport I love. It's the thing that I've done my whole life, that it's just been my passion. So just hoping that all my teammates are as passionate about the sport and the program and the success that the team can have no matter what, and just the drive to never give up. I think that's the legacy I want to leave, where it's like, yeah, we may be down a couple, but we can fight no matter what. We can claw and scratch our way back and end up with a win. And it's knowing that all the off hours of putting in the time and energy to better yourself for when you're on that field, I think that's something I hope my teammates like recognize, that like I'm working out outside of lacrosse, I'm playing wall ball, and it's like I don't want that recognition. That's not why I do it. I do it to please myself in a way, where I do it just because I love it, and I want to be the best version of myself out on the field. So it's like just putting in that time and effort and energy outside of lacrosse without being told to ultimately bring your best. I think that's the legacy I'd like to leave.
I like it, and I see it. So I think you're succeeding there.
Stop it.
Oh,
Stop it.
last of the main questions. What is something about you that people would never guess?
Oh, I've actually been asked this question a couple times this past week, and it's just I feel like it's been a different answer every time. I think the fact that like I'm low key a girly girl, people don't know. Like I love the sparkles. I love just having my nails done. I like going to I love doing my hair. I like attempting my makeup, like because I've engrossed myself so much into lacrosse that it's like I love lifting. I love running. Like I love being athletic, but people don't necessarily always see like the girly side of me. So I think that's something that people get like almost taken back by. They're like, oh, whoa, your hair is curled, your makeup's done. Like, whoa, like what's going on? And I think the fact that like, I love everything outdoors. I love being outside. I hate being on my phone. I actually like have half now, a little over, that I haven't been on any social media, and people also find that really weird, that I don't care about social media, and it doesn't sound right, but it's just I know it wasn't positive in my life, so being able to give that up and not really think twice about it is something people also are like, whoa, that's different.
All right. Well, that was fun. So I'm planning.
Maybe that I have like I'm really awkward and like goofy too. I do a lot of things to make myself laugh, and if other people laugh, then cool. But if not, I don't really care. I think that's also something that's really funny about me.
I think that might be a goalie thing too. It seems like a lot of the goalie coaches and goalies I know are kind of similar like that. So maybe us oddballs are drawn together into goalie world. Who knows?
Brought up.
Right. So I'm going to do some standard kind of exit things as we get out. So what didn't I ask that you were kind of hoping I would?
I honestly came into this just not expecting anything, but expecting everything. Cause as I was like getting ready to like log into the Zoom chat, I was like, oh my God, he didn't send me any questions. I don't have any time to prepare. Like, what am I going to be asked? I was like, I don't know. And then I don't know. I think you covered basically everything. And I was able to veer off in different directions and take it my own way.
That's fine. That's what makes these fun. I didn't want them to be scripted. I just wanted to kind of flow.
I like it.
All right. So for the next guest, whomever that may be, what question would you have for them?
Ooh. What is their why?
I like that one. All right.
Because it's like everybody has, I think that's something people always kind of gloss over every now and then. It's like, what makes you get up in the morning? What makes you go do that workout? What makes you do the things that you don't want to do? Like, what what drives you to keep going? I think that's an interesting question.
Love it. Definitely going to use that one. And last,
Nice.
before we get out of here, I think it's going to be your dancing partner who's on next. Your whole dancing partner.
Hang on. I don't know if I can. I hope the camera doesn't fall down. So you can clip this in. Ready?
Nice.
I don't have my stick yet, but I just ordered a new one. So we're waiting on my stick to come in. And when we get my stick, me and Shauna will do it. We have videos of it that you can definitely clip into.
No, it's not the same with only one of you doing that. Last thing, one piece of advice for any youth lacrosse goalie watching this. See
ball, step to ball, save ball. If you think you stink.
That was too.
It sounds so scripted, but it's fun. Enjoy it.
Well, Natalie, thank you for being guest number 1 on what's sure to be an epic. What are these? Podcast? I'm not sure what this is.
Podcast.
YouTube cast. I'm not. Anyway, thank you for being the first one, and
I hope to see you again.
We have set the bar.
Oh yeah.
That was it for episode 1. Later, everyone.